I'm not going to talk about the history of the Illuminati. I'm going to talk about the Illuminati and how they canceled out or disparaged themselves from this hip-hop curse. And I'm going to talk about that genre right now. See, what people don't understand is that in '84, there's this movement they call hip-hop, where these rap artists were rapping over rock music. And let me tell you about music in general, and especially rock music. Rock music was created just for the simple purpose to keep evil spirits around you. Everyone who's in the Illuminati knows witchcraft. So everybody knows how to cast spells, and music is just spellbound, like the Pied Piper. That's how you lure the kids in with the music. Sound. That's why commercials have jingles. It's history. It's taught. This is what's real in the world. And the difference between negative music and positive music is negative music focuses on riffs that are demonic. Positive music focuses on the lyrics, the powers in the words. So here's a music genre that's pretty much started as a John Doe business. Now, as a John Doe business, it grows into one of the biggest things of all times, where it could be created as a single wealth entity. Then we're making money off of it, but the money is not what's scaring us. This thing can grow global, and these kids of the ghetto can come up from nothing and become multimillionaires. What is that going to do for our stability of control? We can't control that. They had the power to control that. And without control, the Illuminati would lose its power. So, a guy named David Loudon was the first guy to bring this forward over in Scotland, England, in a meeting. He sat down with the chairman and he brought this up to the table. And he laughed at it to think that something as small as this could be so huge and so major. But once we start seeing the movements with this black power, everybody's talking about saying no to drugs and unity, and the red, black, and green stickers and shirts that are being sold with medallions of Africa, and it was becoming a movement. We had to put our foot down hard. It was ruining our structure. So what we did was, we said, okay, we had guys on the inside of the music business, and we said we had to focus in on this hip-hop genre. People and parents didn't like it anyway. It was juvenile, but they ignored it because they didn't see the danger in it. So we had to bring the danger element full circle.
Oh, man.
And put it right in their front papers. So, our first con is a fellow named Jerry Hall. He works for the Illuminati. But he can't be an Illuminati because he's not pure blood. But he works for us. He comes in, we activate Jerry. And he's talking to a guy named Eric Wright. And he's telling Eric how to change his money into legal money. And he talks to Eric about getting this record company and how to do his finances for him. Eric is a lust lover. He loves nothing. The only thing he cares about, well, he lusts about his money. He never loves anything.
You know about EVE.
They bring in this group, and you know what happens after that? They create this NWA. They were making these mixtapes that Kipper Gore was getting out of Oakland. And she was the one that's saying that this rap gets out to the public. It's going to destroy our youth. And the Illuminati knew right away, we got to get this out to the public. And that's what we did. We went through a label that didn't even exist. They just did television commercial jingles, and we put out this music. And it was a smash. The FBI launched an investigation, the lyrics was abrasive, and it was on your front page. Now the parents are seeing the danger in hip-hop. And now the communities want to control it. And it went from having a positive message with nasty lyrics to just nasty lyrics. And you can thank Jerry for maintaining that. And eventually it's going to spread. It's going to become contagious like wildfire. Now look back. When it first started back in like '84, they were saying peace, brother and sister. Now everybody's calling each other's niggers and bitches. It spread it like wildfire. Now, after this, the world being changed. Here comes this other slash pimp slash police informant slash breakdancer named Ice T. Okay, he has this cop killer record with this rock group he has called Body Count, which they actually paid him to do. They paid him to perform with this rock band. He got paid $1.7 million to perform with this band that they wanted to bring out. They said, do one song with him. But if you do this one song, we're going to extend your contract, and we're going to give you 2 more albums. And we're going to pay you $1.7 million if you do an album with him after the one song. If the one song's accepted, then we're going to put this money with you. And it's funny. We tried to control hip-hop the other way. We tried with Marky Mark and the Funky Buns, Vanilla Ice, and think about it. Vanilla Ice got a multi-million-dollar movie after one record. He won an American Music Award over Mariah Carey. Okay? He won an American Music Award over Mariah Carey's debut album, which was a smash hit. And here's a rap guy who comes out of nowhere, but the black community didn't accept him. don't accept you, we can't use you. They accepted what Jerry did with this NWA. So now, we're in the driver's seat. Now, here comes Suge Knight, Eric's bodyguard, decides to confront Eric Wright and take away some of the artists and start his own thing. So he jumps Eric and makes him sign under duress a piece of paper, and Jerry goes back and he's like, what's going on? And so Jerry contacts our people, and our people gets in contact with what's going on over there. Comes to find out, this Death Row Records was like a blessing in disguise, because now we have a carbon copy on the other side, which is David Kent, who was really the heads and brains of this operation. He was running another sensation that we already had in place. So by the time the Ice-T Top Killer record was out, and the vice president took over besides Tipper Gore, we've already went through that. What that did was push that CD and that record through the roof. They didn't attack Warner Brothers. They didn't attack Sire Records. They said, Time Warner. Time Warner owns everything. That's the Illuminati. They pointed right at us and said, Time Warner, put this record out. And when they did that, the people was all outraged at Time Warner for doing that. And it was a way to extort fear. We put fear in everybody's mind in this hip-hop, fear that they're going to do this, fear that they're going to do that and take over our children. So they took the song off. And it was put out anyway throughout everybody else's music. They were rebelling against what we did. They were rebelling against the government. They were rebelling against the police even heavier. Now the positive guys, they're not talking about Africa no more. They're talking about killing police and selling drugs.
Short all the world, that was all I wanted to do. Eric told him, no, we gotta do something about Suge Knight. But if Eric didn't want to move the label, then Jerry's ready to disband and sign all the acts over to David Kent. And then just shut down the record label. He could tell him that's like bleeding dry. Then out of nowhere, Eric from the best way to stop. Jerry called the Illuminati. They sent over Israeli soldiers from Israel out the country to come over and protect everyone who worked at Ruthless Records.
Wow.
From Suge Knight and everyone else. How could that happen? That should have been a red flag to the rest of the world, something to lie. But no. No one says anything. They're so caught into this Death Row Ruthless Records war that they never saw what was going on behind the scenes. Now, with that happening, plans were put in place to rebuild Ruthless Records. Mixtapes are coming in, no records are being sold again. So what happened was, a deal was structured so that Dr. Dre's first album would represent the sales for Ruthless Records. They got paid, they split that money. Eric split the money with Suge Knight on that record. Then, to top off everything, to put the cherry right on the top, they went ahead and got a mixtape from the Midwest of the most demonic rap they've ever heard in their lives. Eric didn't know what it was. But the riff and the tone, Jerry knew exactly what it was and said, this is something I can't believe you have to meet these people, Eric. Eric went all the way to Cleveland, Ohio to meet a group called Bone Thugs and Harmony in 1993. And when he did that, he told him, I want you to say that line that I just heard it the same way I heard it on that cassette, so I can know that it's real. And one of the members of Bone Thugs and Harmony came forward and told him the same exact rap he just heard, and he said, stop. That's platinum. That's a million records sold right there. I want to do a deal with you in this group now. And $2 million for it and made the deal stick. They released, they sold 3.5 million records off of EP release. It wasn't even a complete full album. And they sold 3.4 million records. Needless to say, the record company's doing well. Eric's making a lot of money. They're making $10 million a month. They got a great budget for the new album that's coming forth with this Bone Thugs and Harmony. The artwork, the advertising puts stars and bones everywhere. But when you invoke those type of spirits and demons around you, it consumes you. As you saw what happened to the members of Bone Thugs and Harmony. From alcoholism to drugs to going to jail. Close people to them are dying. When you play with demonic spirits, things happen that you think are coincidence, and it is not. It's by design. When that second album came out, Eric was upset. Jerry had stolen $40 million from him before Bone Thugs came. He was getting ready to fire Jerry. So plans had to be made. Eric was saying he didn't need Jerry anymore. That he was going to run the entire operation because he didn't like the numbers dwindling back down. He wanted to keep them afloat. So he decided to get rid of Jerry Heller. And when he got rid of Jerry Heller, or wanted to, he never got the chance. Now, this is what people don't know. when Eric had a kid, his last child that he had, to put that child on insurance, Eric wasn't married. Eric had to take a blood test to make sure the child was his. So they took a DNA blood test from Eric to make sure that that child was his, so they could insure the child. Now when they take blood, from even DNA, they check the blood to make sure there's not any infections, that there's not any illnesses, because they're not going to insure you when you have to renew if you have any type of diseases that are deadly, if you have cancer. So Eric had this test in 1994, 6 months prior to his death. A lot of people don't know that. Now, he had this test done prior to his death. 6 months prior, it was detected at least a strain of the virus. He died of full-blown AIDS that he contracted from the hospital where he went in before, when he was given bronchitis. He got bronchitis symptoms. He was poisoned. And he was administered the AIDS virus. What do you think Bill Gates is doing in South Africa? What did Bill Gates' father do? Bill Gates is a full Illuminati. So was his father and his great-grandfather, who had a quote saying they don't pretty much basically with operation control. That's what they were doing in Africa, and that's what his son's doing now. You think Bill Gates had billions of dollars just for coming up with software? You got another thing coming.